Light at the End of the Tunnel by Vicki Connell of Harrington, 2427. Narrated by Janine Penfold. I'm sitting on my great-grandmother Ma Green's lap. Her hands are held up in front of her chest, facing outwards. I'm clapping my hands together and then clapping each of hers in turn as we sing a rhyme about Miss Mary Mac. I'm 4 years old. Then, on the final line of the rhyme, I giggle as my tiny hands clap both her broad, gnarly ones hard 3 times. Ma Green is minding us as Mum has popped out to do some shopping. I love to hop up onto her lap and play these rhythmical clapping games. She interlocks her fingers together to make a church, with her 2 fingers extended up to make a steeple, while she chants, "Here is the church, and here is the steeple," and opens her thumb doors so that I could exclaim at the finger people, "Open the door to see all the people!" My ma keeps me entertained like this for ages. Then Mum appears at the back door, and I jump down off her lap and run away to play elsewhere. Ma Green always wore dark clothes, a long black dress and coat, hat and gloves, when she came to visit. She was a tall, imposing figure, but never seemed frightening to me, only comforting. Her small, round, dark glasses were the only scary thing about her. They hid her eyes, and to me, they looked like 2 deep, black, bottomless holes. Mum said she wore them because she was blind and did not want to hurt her eyes. She was having a holiday at our house because Auntie Ina, her daughter, needs a break, Mum said. They lived in Surrey Hills in a tiny terrace house, and we would often go and visit them there. I remember one Christmas time being very excited when she gave me a tiny cane doll bassinet which she'd woven. Auntie Ina had sewed the bedding and knitted doll's clothes for the baby doll. I've still got this wonderful basket. For Ma Green's visits, Dad strung up a rope along the path to the toilet outside so that she could feel her way there by herself. When I was a child, I often woke up screaming from recurring nightmares. I would run, crying down the hallway and hop into Mum and Dad's bed. One morning, after one of my nightmares, Ma Green called me into the kitchen to sit up on her lap where we started playing our usual hand-clapping games. After a few games, she told me, "That's all now." And I implored, "Ma, one more." "All right then, one last game." She instructed me to put my hand into my pocket. "Now, pull it out. What do you see?" I opened my hand, looked at my empty hand and replied disappointedly, "Nothing, Ma." She gently took my open hand and closed it into a tight fist. "Now," she said, "look again." I looked really closely and noticed that I could see a tiny pinprick circle of light at the end. "Now," she said, "open your hand a little and you can make that little hole bigger. What do you see now?" I was so excited. It was like looking through a tunnel. I could see our kitchen stove, and then when I moved my hand telescope around the room, I could see other things. Then I made the hole bigger, and the objects became bigger. I enjoyed this game immensely. "I can make things big or small," I said to her. She replied, "That's right. It's the same thing you see, no matter how big or small you make it. Now, remember this. If ever you were sad, you can play this game. Close your hand up tight and have a look through it at that tiny pinprick of light, and then make it bigger. Let the light that you see take away your sadness. There's always a little light which makes your troubles easier to bear. If not, make the hole bigger and look at the bigger picture. Your troubles will not seem so bad then." One evening, as I was approaching 50, I found that I couldn't drive at night anymore because in the dimmer light I couldn't see the traffic signs. Gradually, I lost my peripheral vision, and now all I can see is a circle of light without the outer edges. like looking through a tunnel. It seems that I have glaucoma, like my Ma Green had. I was devastated at first to realise that I too would one day lose all my sight unless I had elective surgery, which had not been available in my great-grandmother's time. It was frightening, but through the process of waiting for the surgery, and whilst I still had some sight left, I took the time each day to try and see that light at the end of my closed-fist tunnel and imagine what it would be like to live without sight. Somehow, it seemed to help me focus on the here and now. I have recently moved with my husband, and we have nature right outside our bedroom windows. A beautiful green tree-filled reserve which backs onto the Manning River. I can hear the ocean and the water tumbling from the water feature outside my window. I'm learning to recognise different bird calls, and I walk daily with my husband along the river path behind our home, discovering through my other senses all the joys of nature. I realise now that light is free. It doesn't cost us anything, and when we are there for others to help them in sharing that light, we are giving light and freedom to ourselves as well. I often think about my dear Ma Green. Although there was an absence of light in her life, it in no way diminished her capacity to bring metaphorical light into the lives of others. The end.